As we saw there, it was a pretty testy meeting, wasn't it? Tell us about the main grievances on each side.
Well, the word used by the Chinese side was condescension. It really doesn't like being lectured to on democracy by the US or indeed other Western countries. It doesn't like the actions that have gone along with that rhetoric during the Biden administration, particularly the sanctions that were announced just before this meeting in Alaska, sanctions in relation to the crackdown in Hong Kong. The Uyghurs as well, of course, have been a focal point of this administration, as the U.S. administration, as well as actually the previous U.S. administration actually brought in some actions in relation to the Uyghurs. But there's a kind of coming together of things that China really doesn't like, and I think it probably feels a lot more threatened than it did under the Trump administration, in the sense that the Biden government is really in a much more focused way than his predecessor, bringing together countries like Japan and South Korea in a sort of common front to counter China's doing a more focused way than the previous U.S. administration.
And Armen, when we look then at the longer term, can we say that relations between the US and China might improve under Biden, or the opposite?
Well, one constant foreign policy theme of the Biden administration has been competition with China. He said in his big foreign policy speech on February the 4th, he said China is our most serious competitor. And there have been actions that have actually backed up that phrase. I mentioned Hong Kong earlier, but also actions related to the South China Sea and Chinese ambitions there. So while the US says that it's open to cooperation with China, the reality is that the scope for that cooperation is very limited. We've seen already on climate change, the two sides, Beijing and Washington, have not got off to a good start. And on international trade as well, things are very tense, and the Biden administration has kept in place the tariffs on Chinese imports that were imposed under the Trump administration. So we can say overall, I think that there's a very, very, very limited scope for working together for the US and China, but we're certainly not looking at any kind of reset.
Armen, thank you very much indeed. Armen Georgian there.